Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. I am Gat, your host. The viewer on the left requested a twin flames natal chart analysis, so we're going to do that. The first house is Aries and Taurus. We know that Aries can be very aggressive. Their motto is I am. We know Taurus can be very earthly. They rule the second house of finances and possessions. If they feel about the person they're in a relationship with, if they have really real feelings for them, they can be very loyal. But Tauruses can be very strong, but they can also be very stubborn. So that's something you want to be mindful of, because you have Aries energy, which is very forward moving, can be aggressive, and Taurus. So this can be a very stubborn person, depending on the circumstance. Now, when we go to the second house, which is ruled by Taurus, it also has Gemini, which is the twins, which represents communication, represents the third house of earlier education and communications. It can represent a lot of stuff that's in the fifth house, ruled by Leo, is in the third house: creativity, entertainment, travel, fun, communications. But now you see it's two retrogrades with Ceres and Mars. Now, a lot of times when you see retrogrades, it can mean a past life situation. A lot of times when you see retrogrades, it can mean that whatever the planet or asteroid would mean in the forward direct motion, it's going to be the opposite of that. But because I'm looking so far from the second to fourth house and I'm seeing retrogrades, we're not going to deal with the retrogrades till later. And again, I will stress that the whole purpose of getting your natal chart is the same thing as if you were going to getting some type of analysis, whether it's a physical analysis, psychological analysis, because the universe is trying to show you what you need to address in this life for your soul journey to improve. And if you're on a twin flame or twin soul journey, the more you improve, the more that person will improve too. So that's got to be your sole reason. If your reason is just, oh, is this my twin? I want to know if this is my twin and blah, blah, blah. You're missing the whole point, because the universe is going to give you some information that you might not be ready to handle. And it's my job to say what's on the charts. It's not my job to worry about the reactions, because that's not what I would ever do. I would never lie to the universe. And that's what you're actually doing. You're trying to force the universe to say, hey, you're a great person. And the universe is saying, no, there's some things you need to work on. So make sure everybody understands that. Next house is the third house, ruled by Gemini. And you have Cancer there. Cancer is the family sign, ruled by the moon. It's all about family, nurturing. It rules the fourth house of education, higher education, the heart, the Imum Coeli, but we're going to talk about the Imum Coeli when we get to the fourth house. Land and property, travel, and vehicles. So you have all that in your third house of communication. So those things I just mentioned, you probably have talked about during your lifetime, because all those things are in your third house. Moving on to your fourth house, which is ruled by Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. I've already explained it, but I didn't explain Imum Coeli. Imum Coeli is whoever raised you in a motherly capacity. And that could be anybody. Some people were raised by a man, but he had to play the mother role. Some people were raised by their grandmother or their auntie. Whoever, the primary person who raised you in that motherly position, is your Imum Coeli in your fourth house. And she's going to be in your that person is going to be in your subconscious as a motherly voice throughout your life. And the universe will use her in your journey. That's why you hear so many comedians making mother jokes. You hear about Sigmund Freud talking about the mother. Alfred Hitchcock made a movie Psycho about a man living with his mother, and she was nutso and he went nutso and all kind of crazy stuff. That's the Imum Coeli. Doesn't necessarily have to be crazy, but it will be in your life, your duration of your life, in the fourth house of Imum Coeli. And this is your family house. And then you have Leo there, which means your Imum Coeli might have been a Leo. Or you have Leo, again, is all about leadership, fun, romance, passion, travel, adventure, taking risk. And then again, you have Saturn retrograde. Again, we're going to have to deal with those retrogrades by themselves. Saturn can be karma. Saturn retrograde can be karma. Saturn retrograde can mean, because Saturn in direct or forward motion means a disciplinarian, but Saturn in reverse could mean the person that should have been a disciplinarian was not as disciplinary. They were too easy going when they should have been putting down standards. So you can remember everything I just said about the fourth house and the family and everything, and you can see if that makes application. But we will be coming back to all your retrogrades. Fifth house is Virgo. In the fifth house, we've already explained the fifth house is ruled by Leo, but Virgo is a healer. Virgo's about home and family, healing, and service. So, in your mind, that's how you equate. You actually equate romance with that healing. And then you have Juno. Juno means that you may end up in a relationship with a Virgo. So immediately I look over to the chart on the right, and there you have Virgo with the vertex cross. The vertex cross means that this person would meet somebody significantly in this house 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the house of relationships of a Virgo, and you even see the twin flame number of 22. So that's unique. But there's a lot of unique things. Like I can already see, if you just look at these charts, you can see a lot of similar placements. So you can definitely see a soul connection. It's definitely a soul connection, a soulmate, but we haven't ascertained if it's going to be a twin flame connection. Now, when you go to the sixth house, which is again ruled by Virgo, we've already explained it. What's in the sixth house? You have a relationship. So you have some type of relationship healing issues going on. But we have to understand that Libra also can mean relationships, love, harmony, balance, law, karma. So you have all this healing going on, and then you have the vertex cross, meaning that in your sixth house of healing, ruled by Virgo, health, home, service, you would have a significant meeting with someone that might be a Libra. Now you see his true north node is Libra with Venus, which is love. And also the moon is showing you a that whole, what I'm trying to tell you about the fourth house. But the moon is everything. It's the divine feminine, definitely connected to all the divine feminines. It can be your I Mum Coeli, because you're still dealing with the sixth house, which is home. And it's all about nurturing. And then you're dealing with Pluto. So Pluto deals with soul matters. It deals with the eighth house. It deals with great transformation. The eighth house is ruled by Scorpio. The unknown, secrets, esoteric information, soul connection, soul reincarnation, other people, money, debt, taxes, insurance, shared resources, sex, transformation. This is all in the eighth house. So they're taking your sixth house and they're healing your relationship, which looks like it's some type of soul relationship. And then they're leading it into your seventh house, which is relationships, but then there goes Scorpio, and Pluto rules Scorpio. So we've already explained your seventh house ruled by Libra, and we also explained what's going on in your eighth house. And you have Uranus there, which represents independence. It can also represent travel. It can represent sudden things happening. It can also represent Aquarius, because Uranus rules Aquarius, and this is your true north node. This is what you're supposed to be working on in your house, which is relationship with Venus. That's your seventh house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you two are really playing off each other, but it's looking more like a soul. It's looking like a soul connection, like a soulmate, but not necessarily a twin soul. Excuse me for a second. So I'm gonna be totally honest with y'all. I had did a audio first for this, and then I just, because I'm a very honest person, but that's why my gifts are so strong. You can't be lying with spirit. People want to lie. People use this to make a lot of money. I don't do that. I do this to help people. When you ask for this information, what you should be focusing on is what is being said. If you're focusing on anything else, you're actually wasting your time, your resources. My job is to show people what the universe is saying they need to do to progress in their soul journey. And as they progress in their soul journey, their twin soul situation or even a soulmate situation will also get better. That's my job. My job is not to come out here and talk with a happy voice and all that. It might make you feel better, but it's not going to help you. So that's my job. I stay focused on what the job is at hand. And the reason why I'm saying that, to make a long story short, because somebody obviously had some issues. They had like some psychological issues, and they went crazy or something. I don't know. They started hitting me with like 40 emails in like 16 hours. So of course that person got blocked. And I did try to address their earlier emails. I did address it, and then they just kept hitting me with emails. So that type of person really needs some type of psychological help first. And maybe the natal chart will help them as well. But at the end of the day, they need psychological help. So I'm just making perfectly clear. My job is to show you what's on your charts. It's not to be whatever. And if you listen to what the angels are saying, because that's what I'm giving you from the charts. If you listen to what spirit is saying, you'll improve. You'll understand what the universe is asking of you in this life. That's my job, to show you that. My job is not to do anything other than that. So I want everybody to understand that. And because I take it very seriously. This whole soul journey is not a joke. And a lot of people look at it like bubblegum astrology. Like when you're walking on a boardwalk and you say, "Oh, let's get a tattoo." Ha ha ha. LOL. Or you're walking on a boardwalk and you go, "Oh, let me get my horoscope done." Ha ha ha. No, this is your life. This is real. It's not a joke. And when people realize that, because if people took that more seriously, you would see less relationships. You would see less people sleeping all over the place with everybody and all the stuff that goes on our planet. Because nobody takes their soul journey seriously. Because you're on a planet that's third dimensional, and the people that run the planet want to keep you a little bit higher than animals, and they want to keep you dumbed down. And if you look at the way people act, that's exactly what you see. But they don't realize that at the end of their journey, they're going to have to answer for that behavior. And that's why you see this on the that's why you see all of this on the soul charts. And when you see a lot of auras, that means the universe is saying in this life, these are matters you have to address. So that's what you should be concerned with. Who's ever requesting this, you should be concerned with what the universe is saying to you. I mean, you can go out and party all you want, but you better make sure you're having some time to learn what the universe is saying. Because when your life ends, it's this chart. They're not going to judge you by how good you dance, how sexy you look, and none of the other crap. How macho you were. They're going to judge you by this is the chart, and this is what you should have been working on. And if you say, "Hey, I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't know anything about a chart." Just like if you go in court and they say, "We're charging you with this crime," and you say, "Hey, I didn't know nothing about that crime," they're going to go, "Ignorance of the law is no excuse." So whenever you go to any intuitive person, make sure you're getting the information that you hear me doing. So in other words, if you go somewhere else and they make you feel great, if they're not giving you the information that you hear me giving you, what the universe is telling you need to work on in this life, you're being screwed. Your money is being taken and you're being screwed. So I want to make that known because I have a conscience. Now, as far as that other person, there's something obviously wrong with that person. So they need help before they can talk about a natal chart. They need psychological counseling. They need some serious help. But my job, again, is to show you what's there, Try to be as clear as possible. Take it step by step. And once I've done my job, that's all I'm worrying about. So if I receive emails, if the email has something to do with what I just said, we won't have a problem. But if you're talking some kind of crazy stuff, oh, I don't like the way, you will meet Mr. and Mrs. Block, and I will continue with my life because I don't have to put up with your drama. And I'm just letting everybody know that. Now, we're going back to the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh house. True North Node, so your purpose here, as I'm saying, will be love, but it's also that Scorpio type of love. And I already explained to you what Scorpio is. So that is like your True North Node in this life. And Uranus, we've already explained that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th house is Neptune. So now Neptune rules Pisces, but Neptune deals with your dreams, idealism, so you'll be like an idealistic person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And those 8th house matters. And again, the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, ruled by Pluto. So I already explained to you what that was. Because the way your chart is, they put everything in the house before it. In other words, if your 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, they're going to put Scorpio in your 7th house. If your 7th house is ruled by Leo, they're going to put it Libra, they're going to put it in your 6th house. So I'm already explaining it. So when you get there, you already got an explanation of what's going on. Sagittarius is foreign travel, but they put all that. It's your higher self, higher consciousness, foreign travel, philosophy, religion. But in those things, you will be very idealistic, but you have a type of esoteric connection because of the 8th house. Then in your 9th house, we already explained it, ruled by Sagittarius. They put Capricorn there. Now, Capricorn is a little bit like Saturn, but Capricorn really rules your 10th house. It's about your career and your reputation, how people view you. So now in your 9th house, Mercury is about communication. So you're gonna talk a lot about foreign things, foreign travel. Gonna like to travel. You're gonna worry about how people perceive you. You're gonna be a very sunny person, and it also deals with the higher self. But this is where it gets tricky. Your medium coeli. Usually, your medium coeli is supposed to be in your 10th house. Whenever a person's medium coeli is in their 9th house, it can mean a mentor, somebody that's going to encourage you. It can be somebody with feminine energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be a female, but it's going to be somebody with feminine energy as a mentor for your medium coeli. And the sign would be Capricorn. When you move to the 10th house, your career or reputation, you have Aquarius with the good fortune asteroid. So what we will do, we will look at good or part of, they used to call it good fortune, now they call it part of fortune. So with the part of fortune asteroid, we're going to look at that in the 10th house, and then we'll look at it in Aquarius. Okay, the person with the part of fortune in the 10th house knows they must fulfill their role in society, and they're going to know this deep down. This person will choose to be a professional person. This person needs a place in the outside world where his status and position is high, and his name is associated with the field that he's in. This is the house of recognition and public standing, of career, ambition, and success, and reputation and responsibility. Remember, this is Capricorn's house. So the person whose part of fortune is here is not afraid of hard work and effort if there is a goal to be reached. Now it's good fortune in Aquarius, a part of fortune in Aquarius. This person is idealistic, just like I said, a very idealistic person, innovative and unique. The person with the part of fortune in Aquarius will find their happiness and success by making a contribution or invention that is a benefit to all. Now again, I'm gonna try to explain this one more time because I got a student I love a lot. I really do, because she really wants to do the right thing. She wants to follow the universe, but her twin is not interested in her at this time. So she'll get really depressed and she'll hold it all in, and she'll go away, and I'm used to it. But at the same time, she's submitting herself to all of that because she could get on with her life. If your twin ain't ready, your twin ain't ready. There's nothing you can do about it. All you have to do is make sure you're ready. So that's why I'm talking the way I'm talking. I deal with a lot of people, and it's sad to me that so many people want to take the easy way out. They'd rather run somewhere and spend way more money and get a bunch of smoke blown up their ass. Oh, friends, yes. Oh, I see in the chart, yes. Oh, and they're sitting there believing it. And the only thing that might happen, you may meet your twin and y'all might have a little exchange, but you're still going to go back into separation. And you're going to keep going into separation until you do what the universe says. And even then, it's still going to be a challenge. Don't let those pictures fool you. I mean, there are some twin flames that reach that love. It's like fire, and they're hugging up, and they're all passionate, ready to have sex, and it's fire, and it's all beautiful. But most people are struggling with this. So my job is to tell you the truth. That's my sole job. Not to blow smoke up your ass and make it seem like, oh, no. But you get better because you work on yourself, which causes your twin to work on themselves. And therefore, when you meet somebody, you'll have a better opportunity to deal with that person. You'll be able to deal with difficulties. Like if that person is starting to back up because you've learned your twin flame lessons, your soul journey lessons, you may be more determined to say, hey, let's talk about it. Like, without learning your soul journey lessons, your twin soul lessons, when you meet a confrontation, it's just a tendency to back down. Even with a lot of females, if there's a problem, they won't stay with it. But how do you call yourself, like when somebody says, I need unconditional love? Well, you have to give unconditional love. You can't just expect somebody to love you unconditionally when you don't love unconditionally. So that's what your soul journey helps you to see. I'm responsible for this too. Oh, there's an argument. Let's try to work it out. Instead of just getting mad, putting the phone down, and picking up the phone and calling another guy, or going out on a date with another guy, your soul journey, if you stay on it, helps you mature to you got some unfinished business. Let me make, like I said, I called that guy back one more time to make sure it wasn't me that was holding up everything. And once I was sure that this guy was just an a-hole, I got on with my life and did what I had to do. I trusted the universe. I didn't trust what he had to say. So you mature to the point where you can now work it out. And as you begin to work it out, learn how to work out your relationships, because now you're maturing and not acting like a child, running. And that's what all these people are doing. Oh, I'll go somewhere. Oh, they make me feel good. I'll go somewhere. That's childish. That's like going to a doctor and a doctor saying, you really have this situation, and this is how I'm going to diagnose it. No, I don't like what you just said. I'm going to go somewhere else. Then you go somewhere and the person say the same thing. What you going to do? Keep running? So my job, what people have to understand, is I'm a teacher. Now, if you're the type of person that's offensive, or you can't take any constructive information, why would you come to one of the most honest people on the planet? So that's funny to me. So that's the whole purpose is. And I think this is a perfect example to see what the chart is saying. So far, the chart has shown a couple of areas that she has to be aware of. We're going to have to do the retros by themselves. But the chart has also given good information. So it's up to that person to listen. It's up to that person to take notes. Because it's just human nature to say, see the glass as half empty. The glass isn't half empty. The glass is never half empty. The glass is only half empty if you see it that way. The glass is always half full. It's how we perceive it. And if we accept half empty, we're going to get half empty. So now we did the 10th house. Now in the 11th house is Pisces and Aquarius. So that's where you see your psychic abilities coming in. With Vesta, which is fiery energy, but Vesta is also the family. It's also the heater or the furnace in your house. It's also the flame that's inside of you, the energy inside of you. You can even reference twin flame if you want to. Palace usually deals with feminine defense. Again, I'm in an 11th house where Pisces is. The 11th house has to do with friends, families, and associates. So this person is because Aquarius is a teacher, this person is some type of spiritual teacher to others, or they will be. Finally, the 12th house. And why do you think Aries is in the 12th house? Because the 12th house is really the most dysfunctional house. But the 12th house is ruled by Pisces, which means you're going to have a church there. The churches, spiritual stuff is there. But buildings, police stations, incarceration, psychologists, doctors, churches, mental wards. A lot of the stuff that's in the 8th house is in the 12th house. Sex, prostitution, secrets, enemies. All of this stuff is in the 8th house too. And you have Lilith there. So Lilith is going to make the Aries energy even more intense. But it's always good when Lilith is direct. If she's retrograde, then it's way more intense. When she's just there, it's intense. So it's still that aggressive energy. But you still got to be careful because you're still dealing with Lilith. So what this person may have, and that's why I said I don't just talk to hear myself talk. This is intuition. And everything comes in batches. This is what I explained in my last video. That I stopped the video to start over. But this is the information I'm getting intuitively. When I do readings, they usually come in batches. I might get a lot of Pisces, then I'll get a lot of Aquarius, and something like that. Now the one woman, she's obviously out of her mind. Because to send somebody 40 emails in a 16-hour period, you're nuts. You need psychological help. I can't help you. All I can do is block you. Because I did try to address whatever you were talking about. All I can do is block you and remove any connection with you. Because you're out of your mind. So when you see all this Lilith and Aries and Taurus and retrogrades, that's my point. The capacity is there. And you don't want to let that control you. And whatever you would have to do to get it back under control or get it under control, whether it's counseling, whatever. I'm not a doctor, so I can't give no advice. But you see it in the chart. And my job is to read what I see in the chart. And most of the time I get a whole lot of people to say I'm accurate. But every now and then you're going to get that person say, well, that's not true. I'm not that. And, I'm going to go with the chart. I'm not going to go with what you say. I'm just going to keep it 100. Because I've been doing this too long. But even if it's not true now, it's a possibility it's going to be true. I told my brother-in-law years ago, when your daughter gets a little bit older, she's just a baby when I said this, but I was basing it on a natal chart, on his daughter's natal chart. I said, when she gets a little bit older, you're going to be taken away. And he's crazy. It's Gary, he's crazy. But sure enough, when his daughter got a little closer to them teenage years, they took him into a mental ward. So I'm not out here to play games with people. I'm not out here to argue. I could have lost my life not too long ago. I was in an accident, totaled everything. I have no time for people who want to be in this dysfunctional third dimensional. I'm not in third dimensional no more. My bills are still being paid. God is good. So I'm not in third dimensional no more. I'm actually here trying to teach people. This is what your chart is saying. Just listen. So what the chart is saying to this person is, whether they already do it or not, or you may have it in the future. I really don't know. I'm only telling you what the chart says. But you have to get control of stubbornness, and you have to get control of any form of aggression. I mean, it's all right to stand for yourself, definitely. But there's a difference between standing for yourself and being aggressive, or just being upset, or tantrums, or anything that goes along with Lilith and Aries in a dysfunctional house. And then they even give you a Chiron in the house for healing, which is usually past life healing. And when you see retrogrades, this is a past life. Meaning if we had a lot of problems in our past life, now we're still dealing with those problems in our present life. And for some reason, they decided to put Jupiter in this house. So you may, you're making some money off of some of that stuff that I said, or you will be making some money, and it can be good fortune. So that's funny. That's really funny. Because I'm led to say, I'm not saying every time it's cool to use your Aries energy, but apparently in some circumstances it is, because financially it works for you. So that's what I'm saying, be smart. That's what the universe is saying. If you're going to use that Aries aggression, that Lilith aggression, use it when it's putting money in your pocket. But don't just be arguing with people, arguing with family all the time, arguing with people because nobody, how you going to be in a relationship if I can't say nothing to her because all she's going to do is flip out and start going crazy. She's bullheaded. You don't listen, she doesn't listen. So that's how I covered it. And there was a lot of good stuff said. It's just human nature. That's why I tell people to take notes. Like, this is how I know when I'm dealing with somebody. If I do a reading, and it took a nice amount of time to do the reading, right? And I email it to the person, and I hear from that person like right away, I know they ain't listening to nothing. And then you want to argue. I'm not your boyfriend. I'm not your father. Who you think you're going to argue with? Are you serious? What? Come on, man. That's just silly. That's like me going in the doctor's office and saying, doctor, could you examine me? And he tells me what he finds, and then I want to start arguing with the doctor. That's stupid. Like, don't do that, please, because I'm going to be laughing at you as I put that shit on block and keep it moving. I mean, if you have some legitimate questions, I'm here. Like I said, I did try to help that psycho, but that woman was out of her mind. Get help. Why don't crazy people realize you need help? No, really, I'll go. I'll pick up the phone and say I'm having some issues. I think maybe I better get checked out. Like, I'm a humble dude, but some people, you're crazy, you act crazy. People have told you you're crazy, and you keep being crazy anyway. And then you want a reading, and if you get a reading, the person's going to tell you you're crazy. And it's not a bad thing. Listen, we're in a crazy world, so people should be crazy, but you know how to get help. Like I said, I'll keep it 100 with my brother-in-law. He had to go in the first time, and then he almost had to go in the second time, but he didn't want to go. And even I told him, I said, man, you better go in there. You know what's up. And then he didn't know, so he had a choice. You better calm down, or somehow we coming to get you. Like, we gonna put your ass back in there. Your ass getting crazy. So he calmed down. He's maintaining the best he can. And I give him a lot of credit for that. So it's no hate. I don't come out here to hurt no feelings. I come out here to help, but you will not disrespect me, bro. Make sure you understand that. So now we did the chart on the left, and now we're going to try to address the retrogrades. Let's take the 12th house first. Again, Aries in the 12th house, so there's going to be a lot of aggression there. Pisces rules it, and you got Lilith, and they basically say Lilith is evil, but I don't say that. So make sure you understand. I'm not saying Lilith is evil. I'm one of the very few people to tell you that Lilith is not evil, but she just don't take no shit, and she's very vindictive if you piss her off. So these are things you have to be mindful of, but the universe gives you an okay to use your Aries aggression when it's financial. Like if somebody owes you money or you're doing business, then Jupiter's going to bless you. But Jupiter will also bless you if you work on healing that energy. You'll have blessing from Jupiter. Jupiter is growth, expansion, prosperity, money, quote, good luck, unquote. So that's your choice to take the information and obey the universe. But then when we get to your second house, which again is ruled by Taurus, about finances, and Gemini, you have to be very concerned with that. Because what it looks like to me is you were allowing issues, possibly past life issues, and it can even be relationship issues, because Gemini is a twin, to cause you to mess your money up. And anybody that listens to me, you always hear me say, you guys are messing your money up. Or you guys that are not working with your soul journey, you're messing your money up. So that's how I'm reading your second house, is that you're allowing past life issues, past relationship issues to kind of mess your money up when you should be nurturing uh, and working with the money. Mars is usually really uh, moving forward. It's just like Aries. It rules Aries. It can be aggressive, but just moving forward. But your Mars is in retrograde. So it can mean you're not aggressive enough. But I'm going by your chart as a whole. And it's definitely no problem with aggression. So your Mars is basically saying that aggression might do to past life. And then when you go back to your 12th house, you see another retrograde, which is kind of agreeing with what I'm saying for past life healing. So you just got some past life stuff going on with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth house of family. We already talked about family. You got the Leo there. And I'm pretty sure you got some Imon Quelli stuff going on. But Saturn can mean karma, karmic debt. Now, sometimes people's families, like I know a woman who you could see it in her natal chart. She had a calling, but her family was her biggest enemies. Her family was so wicked to her that she had to get restraining orders on all her family, her mother and everything. But I told you that's Imon Quelli. But I'm trying to tell you that's supposed to happen in your soul journey. That's Imon Quelli. And she is supposed to affect your mind either in a good way or a bad way, and sometimes both. So you got some Saturn or some karmic issues going on with your family. Again, you have to do what's best for you. But what I'm trying to say is, but you don't have to argue back. That's the one thing you can just don't argue back. Because I'm not here. See, people don't listen, and that you have to learn how to listen. That's why I keep telling people take notes, because otherwise your emotions get the best of you, and you'll say, "Oh, he's trying to say I'm a horrible." No, I'm not. I'm just reading the chart and being honest. Nobody says I don't even know you. I didn't even put your name up. If y'all knew, once I do these charts, that stuff goes in storage, dude. It's like I don't know. I have people talking to me, and they'll have to remind me, because I'm not into all that. I'm trying to help you. That's the whole point of this reading, is so that you find out what the universe is saying. It's not about, ooh, let me get some juicy gossip. Oh, wow. I could care less. My family real dysfunctional. I just got finished telling you my brother-in-law. He's a great man. But he married my family. The women will run over top of you and kill you and cry at your funeral. These women do not play. You better have some type of toughness. So I make it perfectly clear. That's why I keep saying take notes. Listen to the video. Rewind it. Don't immediately respond with trying to refute this or explain that and all that. You're missing the point. It's like you go to the doctor's office, he diagnosed you, and right away you want, no, doctor, I don't think it's probably not. It's probably on this side. No, it might not be that. No, you're not the doctor. Things you take, meditate, you pray over, you do. And if you really want this, you'll do this. And then when we talk again, you'll make more sense to me. And then I'll have a little respect. But if I'm hearing from you immediately and all you're trying to do is refute this and tell me I'm wrong here and all that, I don't know. Because obviously you didn't sit down and listen to the whole thing. And again, this chart started the day you were born, and it continues to the day you leave this planet. So some of the stuff may happen in the future. Sometimes due to a person's age, they don't remember. They'll say, that never happened. Then they think about it. Oh, yeah, it did happen like 20 years ago. Again, your chart is your whole life. All right, so we did that family issue. Now we go up. Now it's kind of ironic that once you get past the family issues, you don't see no more retrogrades. Once you start getting into the relationship spectrums, you don't see no retros. And then when you get into the career spectrum, you don't see no retros. And things are pretty cool. But when you get back to that dysfunctional sector, you see retro. Definitely, I would say with Aries energy, with Taurus energy, and even with the family issue, the fourth house or Leo energy. And the 4th house is ruled by Cancer, which is family. But definitely in that sector, you see these retros. So those retros are areas you would need to work on. And other than that, it's not that bad. It's just unbelievable aggression. And with Lilith is like she amplifies everything. But it could have been a lot worse. I'm just letting you know. It could have been a lot worse. And it was a lot of good information as well. That's why I said take notes, and therefore you won't be bugging out. You gotta take notes. And again, I can't be responsible for what people choose to do or don't do. I can only be honest with you, make sure I'm as thorough as possible, and then that's it. And if anybody approaches me with anything that makes sense, then I will respond one way or another. But the foolishness, the craziness, oh no, not here. If you knew how many crazy people I've had to deal with in my lifetime, even now, how are you going to wreck my car and tell me what I'm going to do when I almost got killed? You should be saying, we're sorry, let us help you as much as we can to get you back in the vehicle. But that's not what they're saying. They're saying crazy stuff. So I don't have time for crazies. Now we're going over to the right. The gentleman on the right. Immediately, his ascendant and his point is Pisces. So he's going to be a spiritual person. He's probably going to be psychic. And he has that Aries energy. But because Pisces tries to help people, that could be a good thing. Aries and Pisces could be a good thing. Possibly. But then you go right to his second house, which is ruled by Taurus. And then it goes Aries again. So he's complimenting you. He's complimenting you. But as so far, he's a soulmate. And when you deal with soulmates, it could be anybody in your soul group. It could be like it's kind of hard to explain it, so I'm not even going to use those type of words. But he's kind of like a helper if you let him be your helper. You see how he's dealing with Aries right away? Saturn, and there's Juno. And Juno is who you'll end up in a relationship with. He may end up in a relationship with an Aries. And that's all I've been talking about is Aries, if you notice. So that's how I know I'm right. You understand? That's why I know I'm right. I don't have to debate or argue with anybody. The proof is in the pudding. Not saying she's going to argue, but it's just the vibe I get. Just like I knew my car would be hit. I just didn't know when. That day when I was riding up, I was supposed to go up a long hill to charge my battery. And I just felt it. So I stopped and turned my car around, saying I'm going to get this car off the road as fast as possible. And as I turned my car around, going down the street, minding my own business, that other car comes sliding into me at the perfect point as an accident. So that was a supernatural hit. Like when you put a hit out on somebody, that was a supernatural hit. And then I knew what was going to happen. Now, the one person I can rely on for transportation, watch them leave. And leave for like a long ass time, knowing that I'm ass out. They leave. And then watch the company come in and make it demands on me that I can't fulfill because I have no transportation. I'm a very responsible person. But now they're going to make it seem like, oh, he's being difficult. But you're being difficult because you won't give me transportation when your customer took my transportation. So what I'm trying to tell you is these things happen. And I'm trying to teach. But sometimes people just hear what they want to hear. And not everybody's like that. I'm very thankful for the people that understand what I'm trying to do out here. Because I have a lot of people that understand what I'm trying to do. But you have a lot of people that are just, where's my twin? That's all they want to hear. And it's sad because some of them are like 30 and 40 years old. It's like, wow. Wow. I could see if they were like 12. And even I don't even know 12 years olds that act like that. So you can see it. It's obviously he's there to help you. And you got that same Saturn retrograde. And I see this a lot. I want you to know that. I see this a lot. Now, if you notice, he doesn't have any other retrogrades except for Lilith. Now, didn't you hear me talking about Lilith on your chart? And then I was talking about Saturn retrograde on your chart. And I was talking about Aries on your chart, and now he's there because he's there to help you. That's why I wanted to say he's like a big brother helper to you. Doesn't matter what the age is, but I know once I say that, people go third dimensional. That's why I didn't want to say it, but now I'm going to say it anyway. But he's there to help you. I just want you to understand that. So that's the second house of finances and things of that nature. So he's going to help you in some type of way. He may give you good money advice. I don't know. You would know better than me. But I know that whole Aries in your finances. Now, if you notice, third house, we already explained all that. Taurus, fourth house, Gemini, we explained all that. Fifth house, Cancer. Sixth house, Leo. But then there goes Leo with Lilith, which goes back to your family house where Leo is. And I know what I'm talking about because the moon rules Cancer. Cancer rules your fourth house where Leo is. So once again, he's helping you with your soul family thing going on. He's helping you with your family situations going on. And he's helping you with your Imum Coeli. You don't know how many times something would be going on with me and my twin, and my mother would somehow get involved in a different way. My twin's name is Roses. Like my mother would do something with some roses, or at the same thing I was going through some issues with my rose. And then my sister had a birthday party and gave me a rose. And my mother was way out of town. Soon as she came in town, the first thing she did was take that rose and throw it in the garbage. And what was ironic about that was me and her got into a heated argument a couple of months earlier about throwing my stuff in the garbage. And it got really heated. So, but she still did it again, which cracked me up. Like I know she didn't forget that quick. Is she that crazy that she and she threw that? I was pissed off, but I didn't say anything. That time I kept my mouth shut. Because that other argument was so heated that I'm ashamed of myself. But that she would come in and walk in the door. As soon as she walked in, she was out of town for a week. As soon as she walked in, she grabs a vase with the rose in it and throws it out. Like she kind of instinctively knew my connection with my twin, whose name is Rosa. Because she would always do stuff around the same time. With roses and all kind of crazy stuff. So this is what you got going on with Imum Coeli and this guy and all that. That's all I'm showing you. So I hope people are listening. See, again, when you come to this channel, you're going to get real advice. You're going to get an investigative study. And that's why some people really do like me. Because they know it's an It's almost like watching an episode of Columbo. I consider myself the Black Columbo. You have to really be a thinker. You have to really get an investigative study in. Most people don't want that. They just want something quick and happy. But it's not always going to be happy. The more you realize that your relationship with whoever, your twin or whoever, is not always going to be happy. Sometimes you have to persevere through it. Sometimes you have to make yourself happy because the moment might not be happy. So some of the people respect me for that. And that's why, if you notice, I was always respected in the streets. And wherever I went, they always set me in the best seat in the house. Wherever I went, I always sat in the best seat. Not because I wanted it, but I was always given it. There are people that appreciate it. So I will not be disrespected. That's what people have to understand. I'm helping you at a very unaffordable. I'm actually losing money with these natal charts and this analysis with the prices I'm charging. So I won't have anybody coming at me sideways. But the main message from the universe is he's helping you. So don't play him out. I'm not saying that you do, but I'm only going by what I'm saying on the charts. Don't play him out because he is helping you. And somehow Lilith is involved. And you would know better than me. But somehow it looks like Lilith is actually working with him to help you. First house, second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth house. And just so you know, Lilith loves to be loved. Lilith loves attention. She has to have it. If she doesn't have it, you're gonna see an aura on your chart. But she's not gonna just start with a aura. She's very vindictive. Like when they talk about the dark moon, the dark side of the moon, the black moon, all that is connected to Lilith. the dark moments of the soul, the dark nights of the soul. All of that is connected, can be connected to Lilith. And that's why you see her with the moon with Leo. Because this is affecting your family, but it's also affecting him. And he's actually there to help you. And that's why we can't all run away. And his Juno, I just noticed, his Juno was also retrograde. See my point? And Juno means the person he would end up in a relationship with. I think I said that, which is Aries. But that's retrograde. Saturn is retrograde. See, it keeps going back to you. Because that's how I started the whole... And I'm just being honest. When I did your video, I actually stopped it. I actually stopped it and did it over. Because I'm still thinking about that female that I'm talking about. Because she had the same intensity. Like, she's going to be right no matter how wrong she is. And if she has to send you 50 emails in 10 to 12 hours to prove she's right, she'll do it. Now, I'm not saying you would do that. Because you've been cool. Well, she was cool. No, but she was cool up until the reading. And I guess she didn't like how the tone of my voice was or something. But my goal is not to make you happy. My goal is to make you think. Because you're not going to stay in any relationship if you don't think. I bet you won't lose your job. Your boss could come in and be an asshole. I bet you won't lose your job. But let your boyfriend do that. All of a sudden you're sleeping with another man. All of a sudden you're treating this guy worse than you probably was already treating him. But you wouldn't do that to your boss. Because it's all about the money. And that's why you got Jupiter in your 12th house. That's the money. That's the big money is Jupiter. That's the big money. Venus is money. The second house with Taurus, that's money. But Jupiter is the big money. And that's right there with Aries. So you know money. So I'm just making a point. But you have to learn how to. You have to learn that gentleman that's in your life is there to help you. And ironically, it looks like Lilith has put her stamp of approval on him. That's the way I'm seeing it. Because through him, it's helping your family situations. Because all of it's connected. And even whatever situation you got with whoever played the mother in your subconscious. That's your Imun Kweli. And Lilith is definitely connected to her. And Lilith is definitely connected to the moon. So that's why I said no other. Don't get me wrong. Now another reader could tell you things that are helpful. And you might understand them a little bit better because you might not be as intellectual. But I'm going step by step. Anybody can get this. But people just don't want to sit there and listen to it. But all I'm showing is the reasons why I go deeper. I show you the reasons why. Because anybody can get a card reading and say blah, blah, blah. And maybe that's all they need. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just know my calling is to do it step by step, house by house. Show you why. And people that come at me a certain way is let them know I come with the authority of the universe back up. I'll entertain your thinking, but it will be respectful. Because in no way did I disrespect anybody. I go out of my whole way to keep everything private. As far as anything with connecting to anything or anything like that. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So we already showed that vertex cross is where he'd have a significant meeting with a Virgo, and that's in his relationship house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then your Juno is Virgo, so it's a good chance it's talking about you. And again, Virgo is all about healing, family and home, healing and service. And I keep telling you, he's there to help you, not serve you. But he's there to help you. And he's there to help you with your family issues as well. Now, his true north node is Libra in what house? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is a soul relationship with Venus. So the relationship is probably good. The sex is probably great. And it's healing. Like Marvin Gaye says, sexual healing. So you see all of that in his, I believe that's his 8th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But it's still a 7th because of Libra. So when the Bible says in Revelation 17, it's the 8th king, but of the 7th, that's what you're seeing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because it's the 8th house, but it's got the 7 Libra in there. And then lo and behold, in his 9th house, a higher self, he got that Scorpio thing going on. So he's going to be into secret knowledge, esoteric, metaphysics, secret knowledge, tarot card stuff. And he's got the sun there with Mercury, and he's going to be able to talk about it too. So not only is he a spirit, so he's a spiritual. He can do archangel cards, because that's like basic spirituality. He could do like Christian religion or other types of spirituality, but he could also do like a darker spirituality, like tarot cards and stuff like that. Then his 10th house is Sagittarius, which again is the higher self, but it's with Pluto. So whatever career he has, it's going to be like healing, but it's also deep healing. And Palace is the defense system, basically. Palace can also represent a lot of spirits helping him. So he's got that going on. Then he's got Keris again as a nurturer. And then he got the Vesta energy. And then in his 11th house, which is all about friends and associations and groups, he's got Capricorn, which means that's his reputation, that's his career. And he'll have some type of reputation around people. He's idealistic, just like you are. And he gets a lot of money out of it. Finally, his 12th house at 0 degrees is Uranus, and it's Aquarius. So he can come into a dysfunctional situation and actually make it better, because that's what Aquarius does. They're very creative, very ingenious, and then they help the people around them. So he really, his whole purpose really is to serve. His whole purpose and his true north node, which is what he should be working on in this life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is those deeper relationships. It's really 8th house, deeper relationships with Venus. Now, somebody might say, well, will this relationship last? If I had to answer, I would say that depends on her, because she's got to control her Aries energy. So I'm gonna say this again. Somebody might say that's not true. I'm not that. That's what. But if a person stays in denial, they only mess the whole thing up, and they're gonna have to do it again. This is talking about karma and all that. You're gonna have to do it again. You'll die and do it again. If a person realizes it's the truth, they will. Everything will improve, and she'll improve him as well. So this is a soul mate relationship. It is a karmic relationship. I've explained everything. But it's not a twin. It's definitely not a twin soul relationship. It's a soulmate. It's a karmic soulmate relationship. So again, if you want to really know your purpose and what the universe needs you to do, this is the best place to go. I take your natal chart, your birth chart, and go step by step. I'll try to work through anything. If you don't have the right time, I'll work through anything. But remember, there's only so much I can do. And we have to stay in that realm. And if you need more, then of course that would be a more service. I gave you just all of this for one thing. If you needed more, that would be more service, because it's give and receive. And I have to eat too. I have to keep my lights on and everything as well. Now, as far as all the crazy stuff which goes with being humans, I'm not responsible for that. What I am responsible for is to give you the most thorough explanation of whatever chart you give me, or make sure I speak what the angels speak, or if we do angel cards, the same thing, to make sure I'm showing you. And especially if you have your natal chart, because the angel cards are going to direct you. The tarot cards are going to direct you back to your natal chart. So as long as we stay in those realms, everybody will do great. Now, if you feel I'll go somewhere else, well, all I can say is, if you go somewhere else, I'm going to be totally honest with you. If you go somewhere else, let me just say this. Let's say you're trying to find out where's my twin. I'll go somewhere else. I don't like how you... Okay, if you go somewhere else and you spend a whole lot of money, which is what's going to happen, and you still ain't with your twin, then you're a very stupid person. Because my whole idea was to try to help you the best understanding with an affordable price. And I'm going to give you information that's pertinent for your life. Your natal chart is your life prophecy. That's why you want it, and that's why you should take out time to go step by step. You know why? Because if I was a comedian, and I made YouTube movies, and if I was really, really funny, I bet your ass would sit there and watch that whole movie. You probably wouldn't miss 3 seconds of it if you really loved it. As long as I'm appealing to the carnal side, the fleshly side, then you see the numbers go up into the thousands and stuff. Because people want to stay on a little childish level, and that's why they have so much trouble. But that's what the devil wants you to do. Because at the end, when the real questions come, according to your natal chart, and you ain't going to be able to answer them. And then it's going to be too late. Because now you're going to go right back into the system of reincarnation. God bless.